Hey everyone, welcome back, and let's write some more neat code today. So today let's solve the problem, defuse the bomb. The idea is we're given an input array of integers, and we're given another parameter k. In this example, let's say it's 3. So k is the magic number for this problem. If k is 0, we're going to replace everything in this array with 0. When they say replace, they don't necessarily mean doing it in place with the array. I'm pretty sure you actually have to create a separate array. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put the new values in a separate array. So if k is 0, we can just return all zeros and the length is the same as this. So that's pretty straightforward. The other two cases are a bit more interesting. If k is a positive number, we're going to do this. For every number, we're going to create a window of size k because we want to replace the ith element with the next k elements. So basically a window of size k in this case, and get the sum of that window. In this case, 7 plus 1 plus 4, I think that's 12. And so we take 12 and then place it over here in the second array. So we'll have a 12 over here, and we'll keep going. We want to do the same thing for this element. So get the next 3 elements, 1, 2. Now we ran out of elements. There's nothing left. So one tricky thing about this problem is this array is considered circular. I'll show you a really nice trick to deal with circular arrays. So what we actually want to do is get these 2 elements and then the next element, which is technically out of bounds, but what we would actually want is for that element to have been considered to be over here. And so then we get the sum of all these. That's 10. We put it over here, and we can keep going just like this. So we do the same thing with this. That'd be, looks like 16. And for this one, it would be 13. So that's if k is positive. K can actually also be negative. So what if we had k is equal to -3? Well, then for each element, we want to do the opposite. We want to get the previous k elements. And again, since the array is circular, we'll go around here, 1, 2, 3. And so once again, we will get a 12 in the output over here. For this element, we'll do the previous 3. So essentially, we're taking the absolute value of k, and we're getting a window of that size. So this sort of very brute force approach that I'm showing you, clearly the time complexity is going to be O of n because we have to fill in every single value. And to fill in a particular value, we have to iterate, let's say, k times for that window. And so this brute force solution is going to be n times k. I think it's worth coding up this solution, so I'll quickly do that. But before I do, let me show you that trick that I promised. So the trick here is actually very simple. Once you know it, it's going to make your life so much easier. Think of this. We get out of bounds sometimes, right? And those out of bounds indexes are going to be 4, 5, up until 6. Let's assume that k is equal to 3 in this case, or it could also be equal to -3. Either way, we're going to take k spots here because we might end up out of bounds. Like for example, if we're here, give me the next k. If I'm here, give me the next 3. If I'm here, next 3, here, next 3, etc. So that's why I'm only putting 3 elements here. And the cool thing is you actually don't need to create more elements. You don't actually need to create a bigger array. You can do modding to like assume these positions kind of exist, like implicitly exist. So I'm going to draw them like in gray, but assume these elements are actually like, let's say these first 3. We get 5, 7, and 1. So when we do our pointer stuff, like let's say my I pointer is over here and I want the next 3 elements, I'll do a nested loop to do that. I'll have my J pointer iterate over this portion, and it works. When my I pointer is here though, if I have my J go through this portion, I end up out of bounds. But I wish that index 4 corresponded to the element 5 because that would make it circular. And the way to do that is to take each pointer and mod it by the length of the array, which let's say is n, and n is 4 in this case. When you do that, if my J pointer was over here at index 4, and I take it and I mod it by 4, I'm going to get 0. So that's going to tell me my J pointer isn't actually at 4, it's actually at 0. So if a pointer gets out of bounds, it will automatically be corrected. That's the advantage of this approach. And it actually works going the other way as well, if we were looking at the previous k elements. because I'm going to do this. I'm going to have, let's say, my window, and I'm going to populate this guy. Great. I'm going to have my window populate this guy, which is actually populating index 0. I'm going to have my window, and I'm going to populate this guy, which is actually populating this index. Now you have a bit of the intuition. Let me show you the code. I'm going to create my result array. I'm going to make it all zeros of the size of the input, and I'm actually going to save that in a variable because I think we're going to need it a few times. And next, I'm going to go for I in range n for every position. I want to populate this position. For that, I need to know if k is greater than 0, we're going to do something else. If k is less than 0, we'll do it differently. And if k is equal to 0, we don't need to do anything. We could actually have an if statement here. If k is equal to 0, just return the result. And then we don't even need to handle it here. This is kind of a small optimization. It doesn't really make a big difference. Our code below will actually handle this case anyway, so it's a little bit unnecessary. But we will, I guess, iterate n times, which is somewhat wasteful, but not a big deal. Anyways, here, if k is greater than 0, we want the next k element. So I'm going to say for j, starting at I plus 1, going up until I plus 1 plus k. This plus k is kind of the offset here. With Python, this is non-inclusive, so that's why we still have that plus 1. And so for this, we want to compute the sum of all of these elements and then replace result at index I with that value. So we might as well just add the values to this position because it's initialized as 0 anyway. We can do something similar down here, but we want to go in reverse order for j in range. I minus 1 up until I minus 1 minus k, going in reverse order. There's one little bug with this. K could be negative. In fact, it is negative if this is executing. It's positive if this is executing, so the plus k is fine, but minus k should be minus the absolute value of k. And honestly, I think they could have done a better job in the problem description here where they say replace it with the sum of the previous k elements. They could have said the absolute value of k, but anyways. And in here, we'll do pretty much the same thing. Result of I, add to it code of index j. And then at the end, we return the result. Now, this looks pretty straightforward, and that's because there's a small issue here. I'm not doing the modding that I talked about. My j pointer could end up out of bounds. It's definitely going to end up out of bounds in both of these cases. So what should I do? Well, we can just take it and mod it by n. And same thing over here. So that's the code. Let's run it. And you can see that it works, but this is not the most optimal solution. I don't think you will pass in an interview with this solution, but I guess it depends on the interviewer, the company, and a bunch of other factors. Now, how do we go about optimizing this? Well, once you know the trick, and if you've heard of the pattern called sliding window, it's not too difficult. If you haven't heard of this pattern, you can consider heading to Leetcode.io. If you go to the sliding window pattern, there's a bunch of problems here. And you can also check out the courses, which will teach you these things like from scratch. Got videos, practice problems, code, animations, articles, all that stuff. But anyways, back to the sliding window. What is it? It's pretty simple. Whether our k is positive or negative, we want to take like the absolute value of k and get windows of that size. We already kind of know that much. So the algorithm will work like this. We have two pointers, a left and right pointer. Initially, we'll just start at the beginning and then keep summing up until our window is of size k. And once this is of size k, we will say if our k is positive, we want to take like this window and say that the sum belongs to the previous element. In other words, we want the next k elements to fill in this element. But what is this element? It's out of bounds. It's actually this element over there. So the modding will actually handle this even if it's like a negative index. At least that's true in Python. It actually won't work as expected in other languages. Like if you have a negative number and you are modding that negative number, if you're doing this in other languages, the easy way to get around that is to make the number non-negative and to not change the mod. Since like I have some number x and I'm modding it by n, if I add n to this value, that's not going to change the mod, obviously, right? If I say like I have 11 modded by 5, I'm going to get 1 as the remainder. If I add 5 to 11, I get 16 modded by 5, and that doesn't change the remainder at all. So that's what you can do to one of the indexes if it could potentially be negative. But anyways, this trick will work. And so like with the sliding window approach, we can do that. So in this case, with our window, we want this window to be filling in the value for left -1 if k is positive. If k was negative, we'd be wanting this window to fill in r +1, meaning this position. And we can just have a couple if statements to handle that. And then we can shift our window. The optimization comes from the fact that when we shift the window, we will shift like our right pointer here, adding this to the current sum, and we will shift our left pointer over here, removing this from the current sum. So this current sum might populate this, or it might populate the value ahead of it. And if the value ahead of it is out of bounds, that will be brought back into bounds with the mod that we are doing. Doing it this way, our window will shift only one time each, like potentially up until the end of the entire input plus k, like this distance over here. So time complexity is going to be linear. Let's code this up. So I'll leave some of this boilerplate here. So here I'm going to change this first loop to n plus k, and I'm going to change this to r, and I'm going to have a left variable, which is 0, and I'm going to have a current sum, which I'll initialize to 0. So what we're going to be doing here is every single time we want to add the current number to the current sum. So code at index r. Now index r could be out of bounds, so don't forget to do the modding. There's a couple of cases we need to handle. Either our window is too big or it's exactly the right size, and maybe even both of them. So if the window is too big, we can get the window like this, right minus left plus 1. That's the length. Is it greater than k? Because if this is the case, we want to shift the left pointer. If we shift the left pointer, we have to make sure that we do the modding like this. Oh, whoops, that's not mod. And with the current sum, before we shift the left pointer, let's take the value that was originally there and subtract it from the current sum. So this. And here, again, don't forget to do the modding. There's actually a small bug here. What if k was negative? Well, we want to compare the length of the window to the absolute value of k in that case, because they don't mention it in the problem description, but that's what we want to do. So that's if the window is too big, we will correct it. We don't have a loop here because our window starts as a size of 0, so it'll never exceed the size of k by more than 1. And down here, we will check if we're exactly the right size. If right minus left plus 1 is exactly what we want it to be, which is going to be k, the absolute value of k, as we learned, then we have two choices. Well, two different cases to handle. If k is greater than 0 or otherwise, if k is less than 0. Well, what if k is exactly equal to 0? Well, in that case, we don't really need to do anything. We can just leave the array as is and return it. So that will work, even though we could add an if statement up above. So here, if k is greater than 0, we want to update the value in the result array at left minus 1. But again, this could be out of bounds. Let's mod it by n, and that will be set to the current sum. And we'll do something similar down here, except making it right plus 1. There you go. I think the hardest thing about this problem is probably just dealing with like the circular array parts. The fact that you have to absolute value k, and if you're new to the sliding window, I think this would probably be challenging as well. Especially if you're using non-Python languages, you'll have to like add a plus n here, and maybe a few other places. And whoops, I realized that this plus k also should have had an absolute value around it. Kind of shows you how easy it is to mess up. But now you can see that this code works. It's pretty efficient. If you found this helpful, definitely check out Leetcode.io for a lot more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.